I'm Bob Schieffer. New trouble at the American prison for terror suspects at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. This time, prisoners lured guards into an ambush. We'll start there tonight, then we'll cover these stories.
Iraq struggles to form a new government, but will it end the violence? I'm Alan Pizzi in Baghdad.
I'm Bill Whitaker. The U.S. cracks down on the deadly drug meth, but Mexican drug cartels jump right in.
And I'm Steve Hartman. What's old and wrinkly and retiring in Florida? It's not what you think.
This is the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
Good evening. Has the U.S. prison for terror suspects at Guantanamo become more trouble than it's worth? Even those who created it have to be asking that question tonight. It has generated reams of bad publicity for the United States. Today, a UN committee said it ought to be shut down because it violates the Geneva Convention. And now the latest. Prisoners wielding improvised weapons lured 10 guards into an ambush and a riot broke out. Our national security correspondent, David Martin, has our report.
Guantanamo commanders describe a near riot that began yesterday when two prisoners tried to kill themselves with an overdose of drugs. As described by the commander of the guards in a telephone conference call, other prisoners faked a hanging, and when U.S. troops rushed in to stop it, they were ambushed.
Frankly, the detainees were jumping off the beds on top of the guards.
Attacked with fan blades and light fixtures, the guards were almost overwhelmed.
Frankly, we were losing the fight at that point. He then authorized the engagement with non-lethal rounds. We used 5 rounds of shotgun.
At the same time, rioting broke out in other cells.
They tear out the conduit, tore up the fans, the fluorescent lights in the ceilings. Those are torn out.
It took about an hour to put down the uprising, which ended with only minor injuries. But it highlighted what a problem the controversial camp has become. Today, a report from a UN panel recommended the U.S. should cease to detain any person at Guantanamo Bay and close this detention facility. The UN has no power to make that happen, of course, but there is growing pressure even from America's closest ally.
But the existence of Guantanamo Bay remains unacceptable. It is time, in my view, that it should close.
President Bush himself recently told German television, "I would very much like to end Guantanamo. I very much would like to get people to court." Despite what the president wants, charges have been brought against only 14 of the 490 prisoners, and those cases are in limbo until the Supreme Court rules whether the inmates can be tried by military tribunals. Pentagon officials say there are many prisoners who will never be brought to trial due to a lack of evidence, but are too dangerous to let go. The Guantanamo commander says the uprising proves the point.
This illustrates to me the true nature of the men we have detained here. They are dangerous men and committed jihadists who will do whatever it takes to kill an American here, even killing themselves to get to that point.
Lawyers for some of the prisoners claim it just shows how desperate they are after being held without trial for so long. Bob?
Well, David, where does this end? Will they ever be able to close this thing, do you think?
Well, they've already transferred nearly 300 prisoners, and they've got 120 ready to go back to the countries they came from. But some of these countries don't want these guys back, and there's another problem, which is the law says the U.S. cannot transfer prisoners to countries where they're likely to be tortured.
All right. Well, thank you very much, David. In Iraq, the incoming prime minister says he will present his new cabinet to the parliament there for approval tomorrow, even though he has not yet filled 2 key posts. The announcement is seen as a step forward, but it came on a day when not much else had changed in Iraq. There were more bombings, shootings, and kidnappings. Here's Alan Pizzi.
Gunfire rattles through the streets of the town of Ramadi, just one of half a dozen battles in Iraq today. But this is more than simply another brutal moment in an endless round of violence. Each outrage has the potential to start a separate cycle of havoc. This American armored vehicle hit by a roadside bomb is a classic example. The driver of a car that came too close was shot by U.S. troops. He was a member of the Mehdi army, and the mourning at his funeral was led by his best friend, Ala Daram. A few days after his comrade's burial, Daram was the centerpiece of another funeral, his own. He went to assassinate a former Ba'ath Party leader, but was spotted and shot by a man who was on neighborhood watch. This is a place where such deeds, even in the line of duty, do not go unpunished. In an act of revenge, the man who shot Durham was himself killed. Then his house was burned down. Security officials explain the bloodshed in cultural terms.
In Iraq, we have a tribal community. These tribes, each one, if he thought that you do the job, they want to revenge.
The Iraqi way of imposing law and order has so far defied U.S. efforts to change it. And some believe the Americans should stop emphasizing concepts like human rights and let the Iraqis get on with the job.
We should have no mercy whatsoever with the criminals, organized crimes, insurgents, terrorists, and those, even the militia who are violating the law.
The cabinet will be presented to the 275 members of parliament tomorrow to vote on, but two key posts, Ministry of Defense and the Interior, have not been filled. The minority Sunnis want the defense post, the majority Shiites want the Ministry of the Interior. All the Iraqi people really want is a government that can end the violence. Bob?
Alan, do you think the forming of this government is going to make a difference?
Yeah, Bob, I think it would. If they got a proper government with people everybody could trust, a government that could get down to business instead of wrangling about whether or not they've got the posts they want, they could actually get down to passing legislation, agreeing on the things that are needed to make this country work, I think it would make a difference. It's the only thing probably that will make a difference.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Alan. It has been 9 months since Hurricane Katrina, but in New Orleans, they're also trying to put a government back together, and tomorrow they go to the polls to elect a mayor. It's an unusual election, and our national correspondent Byron Pitts is there.
Rarely in American politics does a race for mayor get this much attention. But then again, in all of American history, has there ever been a city in the shape of New Orleans?
Well, look, I feel bad for whoever wins, because the obstacles that either one of these men are going to face are just almost insurmountable.
Tulane University professor Douglas Brinkley's new book, The Great Deluge, chronicles those first few horrific days after Katrina. 8 months later, the city is still on life support. Estimates are New Orleans is near bankrupt, more than $800 million in debt. The sewer and water board alone more than $400 million. Most schools are still closed, and half the population still scattered across the country.
Even after a successful Mardi Gras and Jazz Fest, tourism, once the lifeblood of New Orleans, remains way down. 40% of the hotels and 60% of the restaurants have yet to reopen. So in a runoff election between a black incumbent and a white challenger, people here today are certainly using the R word. R is in recovery, not race.
At Jack Dempsey's, where the catfish is fried on Fridays, the regulars question if either man is up for the job.
One person can do it. I don't think the mayor's going to do it by himself.
With a swagger and a style all his own, Mayor Ray Nagin argues, give me a second chance.
Well, because I have, a degree in hurricaneology.
The son of the city's last white mayor, and Lieutenant Governor Mitch Landrieu's motto, New Orleans deserves better.
Is that as painful as it is to acknowledge, our credibility is severely damaged.
And there's some belief outside New Orleans that if you are reelected, that sends the wrong message to the nation that this guy who's been blamed with so much has gone wrong here has been given another chance to run the city.
Oh, we'll find out. As far as reputation is concerned, come on, man, give me a break. This is Louisiana. You know, its corruption is legendary. And if you tell me that Ray Nagin and his management of Katrina is going to suddenly bring down the credibility of New Orleans and Louisiana, man, I don't buy that.
By Sunday, the nation will know what the people here are buying. Byron Pitts, CBS News, New Orleans.
And one more note about Hurricane Katrina. Even now, the storm's Louisiana death toll is still rising. State officials today said the number of Katrina-related deaths has reached 1,577. The toll was raised by 281 to include Louisiana residents who died after being evacuated to other states. After the September 11th hijackings, the FAA authorized an increase in the number of air marshals. Well, now a new congressional investigation concludes the marshals, who are supposed to ride planes anonymously, are just too easy for a potential terrorist to spot because of their dress code and boarding procedures, among other things. In a draft report, the investigators say this is a threat to national security. While the president and Congress try to figure out a way to keep illegal Mexican immigrants out of the country, we're going to take a look at the battle to keep illegal Mexican drugs out. Our series, The War Next Door, is coming up. But first, CBS News honors American heroes. Jeffrey Lee, a platoon commander, his tank was the first vehicle to establish a foothold during the battle for Fallujah. Shot in the arm and running low on ammunition, he refused medical attention and continued to fight until his battalion achieved its objective. Lee, a married father of 3, was awarded the Silver Star. He gives the credit to his fellow Marines.
Hello, my flower. I'm stuffed up and so congested.
Nasonex relieves congestion and other nasal allergy symptoms. Maybe that's why 4 million nasal allergy sufferers used Nasonex last year. Side effects were generally mild and included headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
I have returned, my flower, a changed bee.
Nasonex treats congestion and other nasal allergy symptoms. Ask your doctor about Nasonex.
My name is Sarah. I've had a sleep problem. Actually, different problems. Sometimes I couldn't fall asleep, or I'd fall asleep and I couldn't stay asleep. My doctor suggested that I try Ambien CR, the latest Ambien. It does both. Helps me fall asleep and stay asleep. It's the only one with 2 layers. One dissolves quickly to help you fall asleep fast. The other dissolves slowly to help you stay asleep. A good night's sleep makes a big difference.
Ambien CR is a treatment option you and your doctor can consider along with lifestyle changes and can be taken for as long as your doctor recommends. Until you know how Ambien CR will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Be sure you're able to devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep before being active again. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. It's non-narcotic. However, like most sleep medicines, it has some risk of dependency. Don't take it with alcohol.
Falling asleep and staying asleep. Both problems handled.
Ask your doctor about Ambien CR. Remember, that's CR for a good night's sleep from start to finish.
The latest look in fiber is showing up everywhere. All-natural Benefiber, the first fiber supplement that's tasteless and dissolves completely, so you can put it in whatever foods you fancy, even water. Benefiber, the latest look in fiber.
Your first age spot. You think everyone notices. A pinpointed procedure like a laser can zap it, but lasers aren't for you. This is. New Olay Regenerist Targeted Tone Enhancer. It allows you to pinpoint age spots and discolorations, target them, diminish their appearance to bring new brightness to your skin. Put yourself in the spotlight. Olay Regenerist. Love the skin you're in.
That's me, Evelyn. And it's my 7th day with Prilosec OTC. It started to work on my frequent heartburn on day 1. 0 heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day. So what day are you on?
Illegal immigration is getting a lot of attention now, but there is another big problem at the southern border, and that's the drug trade. Most of the methamphetamine that causes so much death and so much crime on the streets of America is now being made in Mexico, and there is a battle going on to keep it out. Bill Whitaker concludes our special series, The War Next Door.
This once was common across the U.S., law enforcement officers busting illegal methamphetamine labs. But raids like this don't happen as frequently anymore, not since most states and the federal government put severe restrictions on the sale of over-the-counter medications containing pseudoephedrine, the key ingredient in methamphetamine. Drug enforcement agents report the number of meth labs in the U.S. has plummeted.
Yes, drastically down, in fact.
Drastically down?
Drastically down.
That's the good news. The bad?
Unfortunately, there is an explosion of meth use.
The epidemic of meth use is still rampant because the drug is still plentiful on America's streets. Why?
They just came across into Mexico to start production.
This deadly drug is now a growth industry for Mexico's deadly drug cartels. They're replacing small U.S. kitchen labs with Mexican super labs, smuggling ephedrine from China, India, and Europe, cooking up huge quantities of cheap meth, including an especially potent variety, Mexican ice, then smuggling it north to U.S. users.
They're making quite a lot of money off of meth, They're pretty much using the same routes that they've used in the past with cocaine and with marijuana.
By some estimates, as much as 80% of the meth on U.S. streets comes from Mexico. Agents see more of it at the border. Meth seizures are up 106% in a year at the border crossing near San Diego. Much of it stored in this hidden locker, which Customs and Border Protection agents rarely open for cameras.
And this is all picked up someone trying to bring it across the border?
Yes, this all came.
All of this.
The Drug Enforcement Administration has joined forces with Mexico to fight meth with a two-pronged strategy.
Essentially push the problem south of the border. And at the same time, the DEA has been able to take a lead with our Mexican counterparts in order to prevent the importation of pseudoephedrine coming into Mexico, for example, from other locations like Hong Kong.
But things look different from south of the border. Mexico now has an exploding meth epidemic of its own. This is one of 18 meth labs busted by Mexican authorities here in the city of Tijuana so far this year. And in this case, the toxic explosive chemicals were being mixed up right next door to a daycare center. Police raided it after teachers and children reported a sickening chemical smell. This man is one of the growing number of meth addicts in Tijuana, seeking help at one of the growing number of rehab centers.
It's no longer just the drugs passing through Mexico to the United States. We're now consumers.
Creating an expanding market for cartel meth and a growing crisis for law enforcement on both sides of the border. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Tijuana.
And coming up next on the CBS Evening News, the FBI just won't give up the relentless search for a man who disappeared 30 years ago.
What cooks like butter, spreads like butter, and has a fresh dairy taste like butter without the cholesterol and high saturated fat? Smart Balance Buttery Spread. Smart Balance just received another Best Taste Award and is endorsed by professional chefs. It's the only spread with a patented balance of fats to help increase HDL good cholesterol and avoids trans fat naturally, not artificially as some spreads do. Smart Balance. You're going to love that buttery taste.
Breathe in, breathe out, restless, waiting for anything. So come on, come on, come on now. Let's go, let's jump right in, screaming to the wind, feed the fire within. I can't ignore this burning in my soul. Come on, baby, let's go.
There's a car company for people like that. Ford. Bold moves.
I feel these tingling sensations deep inside my legs.
It's a tightening feeling that keeps me from getting to sleep.
For me, it's creepy crawling. I feel like I have to get up and move just to get some relief.
My doctor said it's restless leg syndrome, or RLS. He prescribed Requip, the only RLS medication approved by the FDA. He said Requip would help relieve my RLS symptoms, even the uncontrollable leg movements that disturb my sleep. Requip helped me make peace with my legs.
Requip may cause you to fall asleep or feel very sleepy during normal activities such as driving, or to faint or feel dizzy when you stand up. Tell your doctor if you experience these problems, or if you drink alcohol or are taking medicines that make you drowsy. Side effects include nausea, drowsiness, vomiting, and dizziness. Most patients were not bothered enough to stop taking Requip. Ask your doctor if Requip can help put your RLS to rest.
Yeah, I want it, the kind of luck a truck like this can bring. I'm gonna take it for a spin and feel the wind. I'm gonna make some waves, I'm gonna feel the sun. I'm gonna ride it, baby, gonna have some fun. I'm gonna ride it like a Ford.
Make waves in a hot Ford Chrome Edition F-150 with a tow and go package and save over $6,600. Only at your South Florida Ford dealer.
Ride it like a Ford.
Dozens of FBI agents and police officers dug more holes today on a 65-acre Michigan horse farm in yet another attempt to find the remains of former Teamsters boss Jimmy Hoffa. But some people are asking, what's the point, and couldn't all this time and money be better spent? Sharon Alfonsi has more from the search scene.
At a horse farm called Hidden Dreams, an army of FBI agents is trying to end what some call a 30-year obsession, finding the remains of Jimmy Hoffa.
You know, is it under investigator skin that they haven't been able to find him?
It's like a pebble in your shoe.
Retired FBI agent John Anthony was one of 10,000 investigators who worked the case over the years, but all they ended up with was piles of dirt and disappointment. The search started in 1975 here at this horse farm, but investigators didn't find any clues. In '82, it moved to Florida after a hitman claimed Hoffa was ground up in the Everglades. In '89, another hitman said Hoffa was buried in New Jersey's Giants Stadium. And this year, another hitman claimed he compressed Hoffa's body inside a chunk of metal and shipped it all the way to Japan. And now, more than 30 years and thousands of miles later, investigators are back where they started, at the horse farm.
Do you think the FBI will ever give up on this case?
It's not the nature of the FBI to give up.
But is it worth it? Investigators pretty much agree the mob killed Hoffa. A body could answer one question, how he was killed, but then what?
The question begs to be asked, who are you going to prosecute? Even if you find the body, you get excellent forensics evidence, who are you going to prosecute? I don't know.
Because of all the suspects, only 2 are still alive, and they're ancient. Arthur Sloan wrote the book on Hoffa.
Is it worth all of the hours and expense to find out what happened to him 31 years later when very likely whoever was involved has passed away? I don't think it's worth it.
Some mysteries may be better left that way, but the FBI is going to spend 2 weeks trying to make sure this one isn't one of them. Sharon Alfonsi, CBS News, Milford Township, Michigan.
And coming up next, we're going to show you where pachyderms go when it's time to pack it in.
America's elite special forces are renowned for their toughness, and so is their training. The Army now needs more of them than ever before. Beginning Monday, we'll give you a rare look at the back-breaking challenges that go into even qualifying for the job. Don't miss our series, Special Forces, Making the Cut. See why more people are watching the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
Recently, I got a free brake inspection at my GM dealership. Turns out the place where I originally had the work done had put my brake pad on improperly. Mr. Goodwrench found a little thing that saved me from a big problem. Thanks, Mr. Goodwrench.
That's why we're here. GM Goodwrench, because who knows what's down the road.
What is your cat dreaming about? Same thing every cat dreams about. Great flavor combinations for dry food. Discover the dry food cats have dreamed about. Friskies with multi-flavored combo pieces. Chicken and turkey flavored combos, salmon and chicken flavored combos, and tuna and salmon flavored combos. Multi-flavored bites mean cats get more out of life. Try Friskies dry foods with multi-flavored combos. Friskies for more.
We're all under extreme pressure. Sales are flatulent. With floating costs, we won't pass the gas with Wall Street. This is a very uncomfortable situation. I've remained silent but deadly about this problem for long enough. It's time to let rip with a new plan. If we don't do something about our ballooning deficit, we won't cut it with our investors.
When you've got gas, it's the only thing on your mind. New Gas X Thin Strips dissolve quickly and relieve gas fast. Gas X, pressure's off.
Introducing Miracle Grow Liquifeed, a new garden feeder, a new ready-to-use liquid Miracle Grow, and a whole new way to grow a great garden. Liquifeed makes feeding as easy as watering. No measuring, mixing, or guessing. Just attach, insert, and feed. Plants get the perfect balance of water and nutrients to grow twice as big. Now, nothing can hold you or your garden back. Liquifeed, new from Miracle Grow.
Looking for a fresh solution in bladder protection? Serenity Pads from Tena. Odosorb Plus helps prevent odors, and a unique soft top sheet with multi-inlets absorbs liquid faster than Poise pads. So Serenity feels dry. You feel fresh. For a free sample, call 1-877-GET-TENA.
What the dickens are you doing?
Who wants to kill you? Mike Wallace has been grilling people for over 50 years. Now it's his turn to get roasted.
Sit down.
60 Minutes, Sunday.
It's a familiar story in this country. After years on the job, workers retire and head to Florida to start a new life. What is different in our final story tonight is that the retirees not only start a new life, they start a new family. Steve Hartman takes us to an unusual retirement community for tonight's Assignment America.
The hardest part of this story was finding it. The directions were so cryptic, I drove right past the place. Twice. The note said, across from a row of 5 unmarked mailboxes, you'll see an unmarked dirt road.
This is not open to the public. This is very private here. This is only for invited guests because what we try to do is maintain the privacy for the elephants.
Janice Aria is with the Center for Elephant Conservation. The center is funded by the Ringling Brothers Circus. It's a place for their older elephants to retire. Or better yet, start a family. Hey, they're not that old. Asian elephants are dwindling in the wild. But here in Central Florida, of all places, they're absolutely thriving. In just 11 years, they've had 20 babies.
We have the most diverse gene pool in North America and the only self-sustaining elephant herd in North America.
The other thing I learned here is that the carrots they give you,
Oh, thank you.
are actually for the elephants. A rule strictly enforced by the elephants themselves. Trudy Williams is one of the caretakers.
The elephants that I take care of are basically like members of my family. They mean more to me than...
I have some pretty fat relatives, too.
Eventually, some of the elephants born here will follow in their parents' giant footsteps and join the circus. But only about 1 in 3 has what it takes. Even fewer make it into professional soccer. So most will just stay here in what certainly appears to be the lap of luxury. Happy elephants make more elephants. In fact, the stork was just here last month. Poor stork.
Bouncing baby girl, 295 pounds.
And how many ounces?
I'm rounding up here.
The baby doesn't have a name yet, and it's too early to say if she'll make it in the circus. Although I'm guessing not. Yet, thanks to this place, baby and mother, and hopefully species, do at least now have a future. Steve Hartman, CBS News, near Lakeland, Florida.
Happy elephants. And Steve has 3 more story choices for you next week. To find out what they are and vote for the one you like, you can visit cbsnews.com and click on the Assignment America icon. Coming up this weekend here on CBS, a 48 Hours mystery.
A soldier comes home from Iraq, then disappears. No one was talking, not his friends, not the army. Were there secrets from the war? Saturday.
Then Sunday Morning with Charles Osgood is all about design, architecture, homes, and products. And on Face the Nation, we'll talk about immigration with Attorney General Gonzalez, Senator Dianne Feinstein, and House Judiciary Chairman James Sensenbrenner. I'm Bob Schieffer, CBS News in New York. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart. Walmart and Sam's Club pharmacies accept all Medicare prescription drug plans. And at the Walmart price, you get a great value for your prescription dollars.
Opening a new bank account? How to choose the best option for your money on the Saturday Early Show. Experience CBS News.
It began in Orlando, Florida. Rooms to Go stores 1 and 2. Soon, we were all over the state, growing bigger to serve you better. There was no stopping us. We added stores, added states, becoming America's largest furniture company by giving people more, like delivery when you want, even the very next day. And now we're celebrating our 110th store opening in Tampa, Florida, with 110 hot values, 110 ways to save more in every Rooms to Go store.